we just fell in love with the city. So these days, it's still a very viable investment destination, but not nearly as cheap and attractive as it was back then. We just love it here, so we stayed.
Yeah, I can also attest to that because I used to live in Fukuoka 12 years ago. And so it has gotten more expensive. I mean, I don't know much about real estate, but in general, it's just the prices have gone up, and I can imagine only. I also think the city has grown in population, maybe. Am I right there? Or?
Yeah, population, infrastructures. The mayor, who's been in place for quite some time now, has done a really good job in positioning it as a kind of white-collar professional services hub, and has done a pretty good job. I mean, it's still not Tokyo, but done a pretty good job in positioning it as a kind of a startup hub. So it's grown in infrastructures and the range of people that come here. It's become really familiar to Southeast Asians now. So Singapore, Korea, Taiwan, there's a lot of them coming here on a regular basis. So becoming quite the cosmopolitan little city.
Yeah, it's so true what you said with the startup hub. It's very surprising. I mean, for me, it was very surprising because when you think about startups, obviously the first thing that comes to your mind are the biggest cities, right? I mean, I don't know, like New York, London, Tokyo, but then no, actually Fukuoka has like such a close-knit community, I feel like, of founders. I mean, that's where I kind of met you guys and some other people as well who are just founders and people who are doing their own thing, and they're based in Fukuoka. And it's like a group of, I would say, foreigners and also Japanese people who speak English. And it's like a close-knit community. It's very,
Yeah, the expat community is pretty close here. I mean, even if you're not personally acquainted with people, you've heard about them, or, oh, that guy, they said he's going to be here. That woman said she's going to be there. But I think it's a lot easier in a place. I mean, Fukuoka is not a tiny city, but it's a lot smaller than Tokyo. So it's a lot easier to get around physically. It's a lot easier to meet people face to face. In Tokyo, from my experience, I haven't lived there, but I go there a lot. It's more of a pockets situation. Like there's this event over here, and then there's this group of entrepreneurs over there, and the Tokyo American Club do their thing over here. In Fukuoka, we don't have that many entities and people, but secondly, everything is a lot more focused into the center, and the rest of it is kind of leisure time. So yes, we get to meet each other on a fairly regular basis. It's not a small city, though. It's 1.7 million, I guess, to our American listeners, maybe something like Vegas.
Yeah, it's actually really large. But I always say, like, it's in Japan.
It feels small, right?
Somehow it feels small, but and people in Japan, they always say it's compact, like compacto.
Yes.
Like it's very easy to get around. If you just moved to Japan for the first time, it was my first Japanese experience. It was amazing because it was large enough, but small enough so I could find friends and people I wanted to communicate with. So I love that, how you talk about it still very fondly. But yeah, what was your biggest cultural surprise actually starting a business in Japan? Was there anything that really surprised you or that's very different?
Let me think back. I mean, a bunch of stuff that I'm now used to, not used to in a good way, but it's just the way it is, I guess. It's the zero catering. I shouldn't say zero, but very, very low level of catering to any language but Japanese. And I don't think it's just a Fukuoka thing, but it's definitely not felt as strongly in Tokyo and Osaka, for example. I know it was just weird for me, born and bred in Israel. Then I moved to Australia for about 10 years, and then I moved here. So this was the first time I encountered a country that doesn't really try to cater to anyone who doesn't speak Japanese. I mean, you go to the local ward office where if you're living here, you're supposed to get all the basic services as a resident. And even in the biggest office in the city, which is Tenjin Chuoku, there'd be a single English speaker that comes in on certain days and certain times. And if he's not there, there's just nothing that can be done about it. And the forms would never have, not never, but very rarely would most of the forms have a English version or a Chinese version or any other language version. It's like, especially in the context of the startup conversation that we just had, that Japan is on the surface level doing its best to let people move here and open business here and tries to position itself as a startup hub. But it definitely doesn't feel like that boots on the ground. And now we might get into that later, but now even on a policy level, it's intentionally making it harder for people to move here and set up businesses here. So one of the first things I've learned as I started doing business here is that whatever venture I'm going for, to make things smoother, I will always have a Japanese partner, a Japanese face to the company, or at least a very senior executive in the company who will be the Japanese facing side. Unless I'm doing something that's, where me being a foreigner plays into it, like if I was to open an English school or a restaurant serving some kind of foreign cuisine, then maybe, yes, it would be an advantage of being a foreigner. But in most aspects of business life here, it's usually a disadvantage.